Hi everyone, it's Morgyn from For the Love of Paper, and I am here with my second project using this month's Kitaholic Kits. So this is the May kit based on the Simple Stories I Am collection, and this one I wanted to do something a little bit different. I had this picture in my head as soon as I saw the page of butterflies. I kind of had this idea in my head of what I wanted to create, and if you watch my previous video, you saw that I'd fussy cut out a whole bunch of flowers from one of the 12 by 12 pattern papers. At the same time, I cut out about a third of the sheet of these butterflies as well. So it was all done and dusted in one big sitting. And the vision that I had was kind of like, like a wind chime, but with these paper butterflies. I mean, obviously it wouldn't make noise like a wind chime does, but that was kind of the vision I had in my head, so it would kind of look like that. So I was laying them out on my page, and first of all I had them in colour order, like yellow, pink, blue, and it just looked a bit too, I don't know, matchy, or I'm not sure, just didn't look right. So I decided to mix up the colours and just spread them out across the page. In no real rhyme or reason. There was no pattern, nothing. I just, went with it. And the strip at the top was actually the branding strip off another piece of paper. It had the pattern on one side of it, so I've got that up there. I do end up swapping that out for something else because it didn't quite look right. I wanted kind of a wood look, like as if it was hanging on a piece of wooden dowel or something like that. And so I did spend a bit of time doing this layout. It took me over an hour, not including the cutting of the butterflies. So this is another long one, and I think I've condensed it down to about 13-14 minutes for this video. So it was quite a long process, and this is how I was going to achieve my wood look. I had this roll of washi tape. I can't remember where I got it from. It's a big fat chunky roll though, and I thought I could cover this paper with it, but it didn't look quite right because you could still see the words underneath, and it wasn't quite the look I was going for. So I had this piece of scrap paper just sitting on my desk. I trimmed off the edge of it and stuck one of these pieces of wood grain washi tape to it, and it's still a bit wide for the paper that I had, so I do end up trimming that down. But I think ideally in my mind I wanted a darker wood, but you can't have everything, and I didn't want to go and buy some washi tape just for this. I didn't have any dark ones, so that's alright. It has the effect that I wanted it to have. And now it is time to start sticking these down. So when I stuck this one down, I purposely left about 2 centimeters at either end of that bit of wood because I knew I wanted to tie some string around it. Then I went and stuck down every single butterfly, but only a little bit in the middle so I could flip up their wings. And that's when I decided that I was going to stitch it, because I was just going to draw the lines down it, and I was like, no, I will get my sewing machine out and do some stitching. And that's what I did. Sorry about the noise. Just about every time I do a voiceover, these planes decide they need to take off or land. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so that's what it looks like after I have stitched down all of those. And I just used some plain white cotton. And I had purposely left the gap at the bottom because I knew that's where my photo mat was going to go. And I had this dark grey that was literally just a random piece that was sitting on my desk, and I knew that was kind of the size that I wanted, so that's why I was using that. And then this is where I come in with the string or cotton to do the piece at the top, because at the moment it kind of just looks like it's hanging in the middle of nowhere and it's not quite right. So I tie the cotton to each end. I actually folded it over, so it was about 4 or 6, maybe 5, I don't know, strands of cotton to make sort of one row, I guess, to make it look like rope rather than just cotton. make it a bit thicker so you can actually see it. And then I just tucked it behind my layout because I could actually use it and hang it if I wanted to hang this layout somewhere. The string would actually come in very handy to do that, but I do just tape it behind the layout because I'm not going to do that at the moment. In fact, I might actually be giving this layout to my mum or to my nana, someone maybe. I think you will see the photo that I put in at the end. If you watch my last video, again, if you haven't, go check it out. This one is a photo of my grandmother, my mum, myself, and my 2 boys on Mother's Day, which has just passed. I'd created this layout again before I'd taken the photo, so that's why there's no photo initially, but at the end you will see the complete finished product. So I decided to go with this darker grey, the lighter grey. The darker one that I had originally just wasn't quite right. So I popped this up onto some mounting tape to give it a bit of dimension, bit of volume, and so it can sit above these butterflies and they can still have that bit of volume as well. So I popped that there ready for my photo. And then I had all these little flowers left over from the previous layout, and I thought maybe I could put them in the middle of the strings. And looking back now, I actually do like it, but at the time I did it and then, I don't know, I didn't think it looks quite right. But looking back now, I actually really like it, and I should have left it. Oh well, never mind, what's done is done, and I do like it how it is. And I forgot that I did that. I tried to make a little flower cluster in the bottom corner, but that doesn't stay there either. It didn't look quite right. What do I work on now? I think I work on, a little embellishment cluster. So I pulled some pieces out of the embellishment kit, and I think a couple of these came in the main kit. I mix all my kits up, so I can't remember which piece comes with which. You can jump over to the Kitaholic Kits website. There should be a link in the description box below, and you can see what was in the kits for yourself, because I can't remember. I knew I wanted this little tassel on there because it was gold and it was just so pretty. So I tucked that under my photo mat. Now I did have to fiddle around with that a bit, and I had to end up raising the photo mat up onto 2 pieces of foam because the little tassel and also the resin flower were quite chunky, and 1 piece of foam wasn't enough. So I ended up peeling it off, putting another piece of foam under each corner so I could fit the other bits and pieces under there. Now I ended up using those yellow flowers up on the top that you just saw me do there. So they did end up on the layout, just not how I had originally planned. And I cut out a couple of leaves and popped them in there as well. What else do I stick up there? I know the one on the right I do turn into another little embellishment cluster. I'm pretty sure I do that later on. I can't remember everything. This is quite a fun layout to do. And it almost came out how I had sort of envisioned it as well, which doesn't happen very often, and I'm kind of happy that it did. So these hearts came from, I think, the embellishment kit. So just dotted a few of them around the place. See, now you can see my grey paper's a little bit wrinkled. That's because I lifted it up. And then smooshed that under there, and I smooshed that under there too. A bit of glue on the back of it. Oh, I had to trim a bit of the foam tape out as well. That's what I'm doing here. I cut out a little piece of the foam so I could wedge this under there. What else do I add into that corner? A few other little bits and pieces. I know I used some of the sticker sheet. Oh, another yellow flower. Not that you can really see it, but it's there, and it kind of gives that triangle of yellow, the two up the top and then the one down the bottom. And I wanted to get this big heart in there, but it was just too big to fit. It just sort of took over, and also the foam was in the way. So we end up using one of they're dark blue, almost black, puffy hearts, and then a few of these little stickers. I think this is where I work on so I pop one of those up the top. And I think I used one of the little circle ones down the bottom. A few little bits and pieces just to make a bit of an embellishment cluster. And I only do, I suppose there's kind of 3 embellishment clusters, two at the top and one at the bottom, to give that triangle, like I mentioned just before. Do I get some of these? These are just random ones from my stash to match. I was trying to match the colours as best that I could. Dot them all around the place. And I don't think I do much else in this layout. I know... I moved that around from there too. I move a lot of things around. And I used the wood veneer on the bottom of the photo, and I didn't glue the live part down because I knew I wanted to slot my photo in underneath that. So a bit of a doodly border. Now, the pink splatters on the side were not intentional. I actually sliced my finger open while I was creating this layout, and as I moved my hand and realised there was a little bit of blood that splattered on it. I know that sounds probably disgusting and awful. So to sort of fix up that little mistake, I put some bright pink splatter in that corner. It's the only reason that's there. I don't know if I like it or not. It doesn't look terrible, but I wouldn't have done it had I not injured myself. Look, it's a crafting injury. We were talking about that in a group the other day, crafting injuries. There's my one for the week. And so that's what that's there for. And I did that off camera too. I didn't even film it. And my title is going to be, I was going to write all together, and then I decided to change that up. And it ends up being 4 generations all together. And I'm using they're kind of puffy alphas. I suppose you call them puffy alphas, from the kit as well. And then I use these teeny little stickers. I got these from Studio Calico. It was like a grab bag or something. And I spell out generation or generations in these teeny little letters. And that's this layout done, guys. So don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, my channel, Kitaholic Kits channels, if you haven't done so already. And I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.